another Automatiko presentation. Today I would like to introduce you to Automatiko approval task, which is an custom task implementation for Tekton pipelines. So this allows us to bring in the approvals into the continuous delivery pipelines. So for that, we need to make sure that we have a Kubernetes cluster with Tekton installed. And here in the repository of the Automatiko approval task that is within the Automatiko IO organization, you will find a description of the features of the approval tasks, and then all the information as well, how to, let me just scroll down there, and here, how to install it into your Kubernetes cluster. So assuming that we have done all those operations, so we have installed Tekton and Tekton dashboard, we configure that we enabled the custom tasks because they are disabled by default in Tekton, and then we install the CRD for approval tasks and install the extension so we can actually look at them inside the Tekton dashboard, and then deploy the operator with the capabilities of dealing with that. So for the sake of today's presentation, I'm going to use the port forward on the Minikube to show our endpoint with the service URL that will be on the localhost 9000, and the dashboard will be on the, let me just scroll down here, and the dashboard will be on here 9097. So we have, as you can see, the Tekton dashboard already deployed, and the extensions together with the custom roles and custom cluster roles binding. We have already that in place, so we can see already that we have the approval task integrated with the dashboard. So if we now look at the, and this is our approval tasks, custom task implementation based on Automatiko. So here we have the information about the particular options. So what I would like to show you today is how those approval tasks can be plugged into your pipelines. So for that, let's just jump into an example of a pipeline. So here we have extremely simple pipelines that starts with the approval task. So in the approval task, as you can see, you need to have the task reference. So we reference the Automatiko approval task, and then we have the parameters, and the parameters are pipeline that give us information about what pipeline run we are going to do with that, and then a bit of human readable description. So that is more for the approvers, and then we have the list of approvers. So this will go with the default single strategy of the approval task, and the single strategy means that there will be one task created regardless of how many approvers we have assigned there. So if we do that we have multiple approvers, then it will be still one task created, and any of those approvers who either approve or reject will continue, will trigger the continuation of the pipeline. So let me just put my email address instead. So to show you as well the capabilities of doing the email integration, which is the easiest one to get your approvers to quickly respond to those. So we have the pipeline created, but as you can see, the pipeline uses the print decision task, and that is extremely simple. That just prints the information using the echo command. So let's just do the quick installation of those. So we have test, and then we have the print. So we install the task, and now we install the pipeline. It's pretty much the same here. Pipeline single for the time being. So we have that created. So if we look back to our dashboard and we look at the pipeline, we have the pipeline and we have the task already in place. So we can easily get started here. So we just start in the default namespace. We run that, we get the name of the pipeline, and that immediately runs the task. And here we have the information about the approval task that is immediately created. And we can see directly that we have the information about the decision is pending, and we wait for the responses. There are 0 responses given out of 1 because that's a single one. And in addition to that, in the YAML, you will have this information with the direct link to open it. And takes us immediately to the place where you can see the information about the pipeline, and we can add our comment. Let's say, all good, ready to move on. And we can either approve or reject. So based on the comments, as you can see, we're going to approve it. And that immediately completes the task, and we have the pipeline completed. So if we look back here into our Tekton dashboard, this immediately gets refreshed. So we have the decision and comment set. And if we look at the pipeline runs, the pipeline is completed as well. So we have immediately the information about the approved ones. So we can do as many approvals as we like. So we can do one more here. And instead of going through the email integration, we can just look at the pipeline, just grab this, go directly to our approvals. And we want to see the pipeline task for this pipeline, right? So we don't have any task. So the reason here is that we specify the pipeline, but we have not specified the approver. And the approver is here required because the tasks are individually assigned. So let's put my email address and then search for it, and then we immediately get the task, and we can look at the task. This is again the same thing. Nope, not ready yet, and we reject it. We have the information here as well, so we can go here, and the pipeline will complete as well as soon as we have the information. As you can see here, it's completed, but this time it went through the rejected path. So that shows us the single strategy in action. So that means that only one task is going to be created, regardless of how many approvers we have in place. So let's look at the other strategy this time, and we just jump here. So we look at the multiple. So as you can see, we set the strategy as part of the params, and then we have 2 approvers given. Let's see here. Oh, and so okay, let's apply that. So we have this and just multi, and we have it there. One thing that I would like to bring attention to is that if those approvers are not actually email addresses, then the email integration is not going to take into account those names, and it's not going to send those emails. So if you want to use the out-of-the-box email integration, use the email addresses as the approvers, and then use them as well to interact with the UI. All right, so if we jump back here in our pipelines, you will have the multi, and you can just start one instance of this pipeline run. As you can see, it just waits on the approval pending, and here we have this one as well. So first, before we jump into the multi one, I would like to show that the approval task CRs are directly updated with information about the decision and how many responses we received and how many are expected. So if we are back here and look at the multi, here we have responses 0 of 2 because we have 2 approvers assigned. And here, if you look, the URL looks slightly different, so we can actually copy this one and just go here, just go like this. So we already had to fill in the information about the pipeline, and then we simply just, okay, I want to first work as John, so then I get the approval task. So you can see the same here. Please go ahead, and John approves it. And if we can just close this one and we go back here. If we look at this one, we can see the decision is still pending, but we have responses 1 of 2. So John has already replied, and we already recorded that information. So as you can see, the information that how it works right now is in the multi-strategy. It waits for all the approvers because each and every approver will have its own task assigned, meaning that everyone has to respond regardless of what is the decision taken by individuals. And only when all tasks are performed, then it calculates a decision, and the decision is calculated based on that it must be a unanimous decision, meaning that it has to have all approvers to approve it to consider it approved. As soon as there is one reject, it will consider this as a reject as such. So it means that it has all or nothing. All approvers need to approve it before it can continue and be considered as an approver. So let's do this one and just refresh it. So we still have the pipeline, but this time we go as Mary, and Mary this time rejects it. Nope, and reject it. If we look back here, we already have the responses, 2 of 2, and we have the status rejected. And if you would like to get the details, here we have as well all the information. So individual approver comments will be separated by the pipe sign as well, pipe character, and then you can immediately, it does not record at the moment all the information, who made what decision and what comment, but that can be definitely an further enhancements to the approval tasks. And as you can see here, the pipeline is completed, and this time the multi one again went through the rejection state. And lastly, what I would like to show you is that approver tasks has as well a sort of management interface where you can actually see what was behind those approver tasks. So if we look at those, they are actually mirroring the CRs of the approval. So if we go back, for instance, this, I want to get you can see that we have 3 approval tasks that are a real Kubernetes resources, and all those resources are actually backed by the workflows that deal with the particular information. As you can see, we have that with the information about which pipeline run was attached to this one, and we have immediately the state of it as well. So we can even look at the individual details, so you can see which strategy was taken. In this particular case, it was the single one, and that it waits for the cancellation manually, or it can be deleted. So here we have the information about the custom resource or sub-processes if it's still running. And if we look at the multi one, so if we just jump here, you can see that it went through the multi-approval and just waits for the same thing. So they are completely bound to the life cycle of each other. So if we, for instance, go to the Tekton dashboard and look at the pipelines, and let's remove 2 those that were single. So it deletes the CRs from the Kubernetes cluster. So if we look back here and just look at that, you can see it's only the multi one left, and the same happens here. If we just refresh it, it's only 1 left, and this is the multi one. All right, so with that, what I would like to show you today was the very quick introduction into the approval task of Tekton pipeline that is brought to you by Automatiko project. If you want to learn more about this, you can find all the information here in the repository Automatiko approval task within the Automatiko IO organization. Thank you very much for listening, and till the next time.